almost every day, almost every hour. Groups such as this one gather to plan and discuss the future actions and policies of their organizations. For all except the most informal meetings, such groups usually are made up of a chairman, other officers, and of course, the individual members. Meetings have a purpose of some kind, and often more than one purpose, on which the group wishes to reach an open and orderly discussion. To see will minority a hearing, clubs, businesses, schools, churches, and governments depend upon conducting their business in an orderly manner. In an orderly manner? How did all this happen so fast? Beg your pardon. Excuse me, please. Could I... Quiet. Thank you. Wouldn't you like to practice a more constructive form of group dynamics? And you, Mr. Chairman, is this the way you usually conduct a meeting? Well, what do you say we start again and see if there isn't a better way to achieve the group's purpose? Remember, there's a definite order of business to follow. Now.
The meeting will please come to order.
So far, so good.
Will the secretary please read the minutes of the last meeting?
The regular monthly meeting of the Humanitarian Club was held the second Tuesday of November in the community building. The secretary read the...
Thank you. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If there are no corrections, the minutes will stand approved as read by the secretary. And now may we have the treasurer's report?
Treasurer's report, November 14. After paying bills approved at our last meeting, at which time it was moved, seconded, and ratified by group vote.
Are there any reports from special committees?
Mr. Chairman,
Miss Kennedy.
The Social Committee wishes to report that we have completed plans on our annual dinner, and we wish to submit these plans to you now. We felt that probably...
Thank you, Miss Kennedy. Old or unfinished business is now in order. Discussion of the motion to send delegates to the National Convention in Chicago was interrupted by adjournment. Would anyone care to resume the discussion?
Yes, I still say the same as I did last meeting. We can't afford this.
Tom, for Pete's sake, you're just trying to railroad this thing through.
We're not trying to railroad anything through, Glenn. This is what our responsibility is as a member of this organization.
I think we ought to send the officers and pay their expenses.
Sure you do. You're an officer.
Well, fine, you're an officer.
Whoa, break it up, break it up. You did it again.
Sorry about that.
I should think you would be. In the last few seconds, you've broken almost every rule for stating and discussing a main motion. That must be what got you in trouble before. So let's try it again, starting with the chairman's call for unfinished business.
Unfinished business is now in order. Discussion of the motion...
Do you know the exact wording of the motion? Well, then you should ask the secretary to read it, because the chairman must be sure that a motion is correctly understood by everyone present.
Discussion of the motion to send delegates to the National Convention was interrupted by adjournment. Will the secretary please read the motion?
It was moved and seconded that we should consider sending delegates to the National Convention. The motion was made by Mr. Peters.
Do I hear any discussion on the motion as read by the secretary?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Johnson.
I think that we should designate 3 people to attend the convention in Chicago.
Well, I still think we ought to
Mr.
send
Chairman.
3 officers. No.
No.
Oh.
You see, Mr. Chairman, you never take sides or state your opinion. Your duty is to stimulate and moderate, not argue.
But...
Yes?
Yes?
Nothing.
I think we should designate 3 people to attend the convention.
Do I hear any further discussion? It has been moved and seconded that we send 3 delegates to the National Convention in Chicago. All those in favor, please raise your right hands. All those opposed, the same sign. The motion is carried. New business is now in order.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Decker.
I move that $50 per delegate be set aside from our treasury to cover expenses for our delegates at the convention.
I second the motion.
It has been moved that the sum of $50 per person be set aside from our treasury to cover delegate expenses during the convention. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Palmer.
I move to amend the motion by striking out the words $50 and inserting $0.
I second that motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the main motion before the House be amended by change...
Mr. Chairman, I rise to a point of order.
You what? Oh, yes. Please state your point of order.
My point is that the amendment now proposed makes the main motion read opposite from its original purpose and is therefore out of order.
Mr. Chairman, my amendment does not run counter to the original motion. It's not out of order.
Mr. Palmer, you have not been recognized by the chair, nor is the point of order debatable unless the chair refers it to the group. Now, let's see. You're saying that by changing the words $50 to $0 as the amendment proposed, we're defeating our purposes in providing for delegate expenses.
Exactly.
The amendment last proposed is out of order.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Palmer.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Now, wait a minute. What about the rest of you? Are you going to let...
Mr. Chairman, the motion to adjourn is a privileged motion and not debatable.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn.
Shame on you, Palmer. Oh, that was a sharp move, all right. Your amendment was ruled out, so you got mad, and since you know a few tricks of parliamentary procedure, you decided to gum up the works.
Well,
You can do just that if you decide to, because parliamentary law is set up to protect the rights of all, even dissenters.
Well, yes, that's why
No, it isn't. You were angry. You weren't interested in the rights of the group as a whole so much as in your own miffed pride.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Palmer.
I retract my motion to adjourn.
Is there any further discussion on the original motion?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Palmer?
I move to amend the motion by striking out the words $50 and inserting in their place $30.
I'll second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the motion before the group be amended by striking out the words $50 and inserting in their place $30. All those in favor, raise your right hands, please. All those opposed, the same sign. The motion is carried. Unless there is any further discussion, we will now vote on the main motion as amended. Will the secretary please read the amended motion?
It has been moved and seconded that the sum of $30 per person be set aside from our treasury to cover delegate expenses during the convention.
All those in favor, please raise your right hands. All those opposed, the same sign. The motion is carried. Do I hear any further new business? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Palmer.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, raise your right hands. All those opposed, the same sign. The meeting is adjourned. Okay, let's see it. You got all those?
That was very well done. But just to be sure we remember them, let's mentally run through the most important steps for conducting a meeting one more time, shall we?
That's a good idea.
First, a meeting has a definite order of business, which includes calling the meeting to order, reading the minutes of the last meeting,
The secretary read the minutes of the last meeting.
Treasurer's report, November 14th.
hearing regular reports,
After paying bills approved at our last meeting.
The social committee wishes to report that we
Hearing
have completed
reports of
plans on our
committees.
annual dinner.
Mr. Chairman,
taking up
Mr.
unfinished business,
I suggest we designate 3 people to attend the convention in Chicago.
taking up new business,
The convention.
Mr. Chairman,
and
Mr. Palmer.
adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Now,
Discussion
let's
of the
take
motion
one more look
to the National
at the
Convention
life
in Chicago.
history of a main motion.
Mr. Chairman.
The motion is made,
Mr. Decker.
I move $50 be allowed per delegate
seconded,
I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the sum of $50
stated
set
to the
aside
group,
to cover delegate expenses during the convention.
I think these delegates ought to have
discussed if necessary, and
Mr. Chairman,
amended if necessary.
I move to amend the motion by striking out the words
The
$50.
discussion can be stopped, although a motion to stop is not always necessary. The chairman may simply call for a vote. The motion is restated. There is a vote, and the results
The motion is carried.
of the vote are announced.
I think we've got it now. Thanks for helping us out.
That's all right. I hope you wouldn't mind my butting in.
Not at all.
You know, I, for one, am glad.
Then you're not upset, Mr. Palmer?
Well, I was, but, well, I was out of order. I knew a few tricks, and I used them. I kind of thought it was fun.
It can be, but you'll find that the rules are more enjoyable when they're used to get the job done.